What's up, y'all? Welcome back to your Visionary Podcast, the one and only podcast intentionally designed to push you forward towards a vision you've created for your life. And if you don't have a vision for your life, this is the podcast to help you structure a vision to become the person God created you to be. With every episode, my goal is to tell real, authentic, and purposeful stories, not cap, but true stories to help you create a vision for your life and get closer to your purpose. A purpose where you're having a positive impact on those around you and on the world. And today, we're going to address a topic that holds a lot of writers back from reaching their dreams. I don't know if anyone has told you this, but being a writer is a blessing. When you think about all of the different skills that a person can possess, the skill of writing is not often seen as a major advantage. But honestly, it is when you think about it. Just take a second. Almost every religion has their most treasured stories and principles written in books. God has appointed his people the ability to write content that has lived on since the beginning of time and will continue to live on until the end of time. And now I say all of that to say, writing is an extremely valuable skill. And the question I want to address today is, what do I do when I'm experiencing writer's block? Oxford Dictionary defines writer's block as the condition of being unable to think of what to write or how to proceed with writing. I'm confident that every writer has experienced this feeling at least once in their lifetime. I've experienced it myself many times, and I've had to learn methods to overcome the dreadful feeling of writer's block. In this episode, I'm going to share my 3 steps to overcoming writer's block. And this will be another short episode, so let's get right into it. Step number 1, find a book on writing or storytelling, and then buy it and read it. When you have writer's block, you just need motivation. You know you have the ability, but something's just not right. So I'm going to tell you a story. With my writing company, Visionary Writing, I partner with writers to ghostwrite books for clients. We're getting ready to publish our 8th book, and when we first started the project, a writer on my team was having trouble getting into the writing flow. She knew she was a good writer, but she just couldn't find the creative edge to write to her full potential. And so I purchased a book for both of us on storytelling, and we read it weekly and discussed what we learned. By reading the book, she discovered tons of ideas to write in a more creative way. We were able to talk through the lessons in the book and incorporate them into the story that we were writing for our client. And it wasn't that the book was giving life-changing information. It was just showing that writing creatively is possible and it's not as hard as other people make it seem. As we were going through the process, I could tell that she was able to gain confidence on her writing skills because she was able to understand the principles of writing a story. And when you have writer's block and you read something on storytelling, a lot of the time it will just remind you of the principles that you already have ingrained into your brain. You just need to read them over again and hear them from somebody else's perspective in order to bring them back to life again inside your own self. And so if you're interested in the book I'm talking about, it's called Wired for Story by Lisa Cron. And also a quick announcement here. I'm doing a giveaway on my podcast Instagram page. I'm giving away one of my favorite books 2 times a month. If you would like a great book to read, go on my Instagram page at Your Visionary Podcast and follow the directions to win the giveaway. And now back into the steps. Step number 2. Find something creative to do that isn't writing. When you can't write, it's an internal problem you're having. There's some type of blockage happening between your brain and your heart. And I'm guessing that's why they call it writer's block. Don't quote me on this, but it makes sense to me. And what an activity like painting, pottery, or taking a dance lesson will do for you is get that left brain back working, the creative side of yourself. When you have writer's block, just looking at a pen and paper may give you anxiety. And so doing another creative activity will give you back the confidence to flex your creative energy and go back to the pen and paper with confidence to write. And if you're watching this during a pandemic and you can't really go out and do something fun, I want to give you another step or a trick that I've learned to embrace that's kind of on the opposite spectrum of doing something creative. You ready? Do nothing. That's right. Do nothing. Just sit still and allow your thoughts to roam. Allow yourself to connect with your higher being and allow yourself to just listen. Because I know when you have writer's block and your mind and your body are trying to get you to write, there's just a disconnect there. You can't really focus, but if you don't set any expectations for yourself and you just allow yourself to sit in stillness, you'll be able to really connect with your internal self. You'll be able to hear your thoughts and you'll be able to notice your thoughts without any judgment. You'll be able to just be the self that is looking onto the thoughts instead of the self that is thinking the thoughts, right? And in a lot of books that I read, they call this consciousness because the conscious being is the one that is, the conscious being isn't the one that's thinking. The conscious being is the one that is watching the thoughts as they happen, right? So it's kind of like you're outside of your body looking in. And I don't want to get too deep, but the base of this is just sitting in stillness and allowing your thoughts to roam without any judgment. And so if you can't do the first thing, which is find something creative to do that isn't writing, just do the second thing, which is allowing yourself to sit in stillness and watch your thoughts. And hopefully by sitting in stillness and watching your thoughts, you'll be able to understand yourself better and you'll be able to get some ideas for something that you can write on. And you'll also be able to feel your heart and your emotions again, which will help you with the writing process. And now finally, step number 3 is something that I created myself. I call it the week of words. And with this task, you're going to take out a piece of paper and keep it in the same place for 1 week. And whenever, at the end of every single day, you're going to go to that piece of paper and you're going to write down one word. And that word can just reflect the experiences that you had throughout the day. But you want to make sure that the words make sense next to each other. Because after the 7 days, you want to have a complete sentence that makes sense. And with that one sentence, you will use that as a writing prompt to write what's on your heart. And the cool thing about this is that each word you put on a piece of paper will have a story that goes behind it because you chose that word for a reason. And so when you get to the point where you're at the 7th day and you're ready to complete your writing prompt, you'll just compile all of your thoughts from the previous week, all of your experiences from the previous week, and just write what's on your mind and what's on your heart and just write what you feel. And the purpose of this, or the goal of this, is just to not make writing so intimidating. Because when you have writer's block, just looking at the pen or the paper, it can feel scary and you can feel like you're not equipped to accomplish what you want to accomplish. But this week of words task will hopefully give you the confidence and the ability to connect your mind and your heart, like I was saying earlier, and you'll be able to finally break out of that writer's block and write something that you are happy with. And so I know I said I was only giving 3 tips, but I'm going to give a bonus tip that hopefully will help you overcome writer's block. And that is read your old stuff. And so if you consider yourself a writer, then that must mean that you've written at least one thing in the past, right? And so one thing that has helped me when I've experienced writer's block is just going through one of my old notebooks and reading my previous stuff. And it just does a lot for me. First, it just brings up old memories and old feelings. And it kind of just stirs up some emotions inside that make me want to write sometimes on that certain topic. But it also gives me the confidence to let me know that I actually can write something that's meaningful and I can write something that I'm proud of. And so it's kind of like if you play sports, right? Let's say basketball. So say you're a basketball player and you kind of lose your flow. You used to be really good. You used to know how to, shoot, dribble. You used to know how to play, but you feel like you just lost your mojo. And then you find an old highlight tape of yourself and you go back and watch that highlight tape. Imagine what that would do for you. You would think back like, dang, was that really me? Okay, this is me. So I do have that ability inside. I just have to find that and channel that. And so I feel like it's the same with writing. because I mean, I would debate that writing itself is a sport. So what reading your old stuff is like doing is like watching your old highlight reel. And with your old highlight reel, you'll also give yourself the confidence. And if you notice throughout every single step that I mentioned today, I've noticed confidence, because writer's block is not a permanent thing for a lot of people. It's just a lack of confidence in your abilities. And so with all of these steps, my goal is to help you take action to gain back the confidence that you are a great writer, that you can write something meaningful. All you have to do is channel that energy inside. And so that's all that I have for this episode. If you enjoyed it or if you learned something, please share it with at least one person. My goal is to connect with writers and help writers to become better versions of themselves and help them find and reach their vision. Because I do feel like writers speak to the heart of the world. Just how I mentioned earlier about how writers wrote Holy Scriptures, and just how that all of that content was developed through writing. And I just feel like writing is super special to the world, and it's special to me. And so with that being said, I look forward to seeing y'all next week. Peace and love.